So, on Friday, I spoke directly to the doctor, and he said that he always works around people's vacations, but in my case, and this kind of got me mad, he says, I don't care one iota for your vacation. I need to make sure that your kidneys are saved. So I kind of got me mad, but I was like, okay, but I don't see the issue because, if we get it done today and then 2 more weeks, and if we need the third week, we'll go 2 more weeks, and then a week later, it'll be perfect. It'll align with my vacation. And he was kind of giving me a hard time. But, he's like, this is what I don't like is when doctors get arrogant. And I don't want to say that he is arrogant, but I'll find out in my next visit if I could truly label him that. But he just said that in my case, that when I've lost function in my kidney, when I've got a blockage, that all he cares about is saving the kidneys. So I guess that is his job. But he was like giving me a hard time and saying, well, I don't, like if he didn't have time to do mine in 2 weeks, I'm like, but whatever. I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about it, So we go into surgery. Well, it's not surgery, it's a procedure. Surgery is when they cut you open. So we go in and they knock me out and I wake up. And supposedly he gave me like an hour, I think an hour and a half to an hour 45 minutes. But I was there for like 3 hours. I was I was in there for 3 hours. And they drugged me real good. There's something called Norco. I mean, this stuff makes you hallucinate. Anyway, so he walks in. I can't even talk straight. And he says to me, you're going to have to forget about your vacation because your stones refuse. They refuse to break up. I was in there lasering and they would not break up. The only thing he managed to do in those 3 hours is he was trying, he said, I worked so hard, is he removed the blockage from my right kidney. There was another stone blocking, and like he said, he could not break that stone, would not break up. So what he had to do is push it in so it'll flow into my kidneys as opposed to blocking me. So he removed the blockage. But then he went to work on the other side and he's blasting and blasting and blasting. He said, nothing is happening. So he's like, you're just going to have to forget about your vacation because you're going to need major surgery. And I was so drugged up that I was like, well, I was just concerned about my husband's mental well-being. And he's like, well, sorry, we can't, there's nothing I can do. I have to call in. I don't know if it's a specialist, a kidney specialist or a surgeon, but he said, I already spoke to him and he's willing to take you, but you're going to have them removed manually. And it is horrible. I was supposed to meet him yesterday, but my son had some sort of something going on at school that he wasn't going in at the regular time. And at the time that I had to drive was the time of my appointment. I thought I was going to bring him in early, go to my appointment, and go pick him up, but that's not what happened. So I was kind of bummed because I really, really want to talk to the doctor about what's going on with this. But from a little bit I gathered, they go in from the bed, they lay you on your stomach. I think that's that much he told me, and they cut you open from the back. They slit you open, and then they have to manually pull out those stones, then sew you back up. He said something about a bag, but I'm not really sure what that's about. He also said that he cannot remove the stents until a week after all has been said and done. So, that's when I said, well, we could do this in 3 sessions, then that's cool, as long as then a week later I could take it out. But so at this point, I think I'm going to be put in the hands of someone else. I'm not sure. And then I go back to him and he'll remove the stents. That first day I was hallucinating. I could barely, my whole body felt like it was going like this, even though it wasn't. Like my head felt like everything was moving. I didn't see it move, but my head felt like everything was moving. And when I got home, I started seeing the walls move. I started seeing the floors move. And laying down just hurt more because you're putting pressure on both sides. And he prescribed me the Norco to take home, because I was, oh my goodness, it's not as painful as it is the painful part is the urination. It's puts so much pressure on your bladder that you feel like your bladder's going to burst. That's really where the issue is. And it's, oh my goodness, and that it was just horrible. So I'm in pain on both. No, actually I felt nothing on my right side. All my pain was coming from my left kidney. So, when my husband went to get the prescriptions, they said Norco cannot be done on a regular prescription pad. They have, this stuff is like, I guess, it is so, I guess, strong and addicting, I guess, that you need to have a special pad. So I called up the office, and Friday is surgery day, so that means that when he's done with all his surgeries, he leaves, and nobody's in the office. So but they do have on call, for emergencies, and a real emergency you would go to 911, go to the emergency room. But if you need to speak to the doctor, and it's very urgent, they kept calling him. I was on hold for maybe about 15-20 minutes before he finally went through, and the way that he answered seemed like he was a little bit annoyed, and I'm just like so out of it. I'm like, I just wanted to tell you that prescription. That's how I was. And he was like, yeah, like I don't know, maybe he thought I was going to argue with him. I don't know, I don't know what, but, and I was like, well, they said they couldn't give it to me because you put it on the wrong paper. He's like, oh, and then of course his disposition changed, and he just wanted to help me. And I told him, look, in my drugged out mind, I told him that I prefer not to take it. That I've still got a full bottle of the tramadol, and can I just take that, and he's like, that's probably not going to be strong enough, so he prescribed me Tylenol with codeine 3. Most people in my family and people I know get sick with codeine, but my daughter, when she had her hand surgery, did not. And when I had my gallbladder surgery, I didn't. So I was like, okay, that's good. I'll give you another bottle of that. And this way I could take that one during the day. And then, if I need something strong, I would take it at night. So I didn't even want the Norco. That was horrible. It's really horrible when your faculties, you're not in control of your faculties. It's like my whole body felt like it was moving. The walls looked like they were moving. The floor looked like it was moving. And then I went to turn on the TV, and I remember, again, running to the bathroom. Because it's like every 5 seconds you're in the bathroom. That horrible. I mean, think of how it feels when you're holding your pee for a really long time, and that's how you feel constantly with no relief, no matter how many times you go to the bathroom. And all I was peeing was blood. All I'm peeing out is blood. And they all told me that is normal, that should go away little by little, the nurses and the doctor. And so he prescribed me anti-nausea medicine because I couldn't eat. I felt like I was going to throw up. And then he prescribed me, I had to get antibiotics. He prescribed me the same ones I told him that I didn't do well with last time. I guess he didn't remember. So he gave me something a little bit different. So I had to get he prescribed me like 5 pills. And I had to go pick those up. And I even went with my husband, even though I was half dead and in pain, because I want to make sure my pharmacy, I've already been through like three pharmacies in the area. And mine has 2, they're so busy that this one makes mistakes. The one I go to, they make some mistakes, and I'm thinking about going to one a little further away. Make too many mistakes, actually. So I want to make sure that I get the right stuff, because I still have to pay for medicine out of pocket. And so, and I even think a couple of times, I think this last time they screwed me too. They overcharged me. But anyway, I made sure that I got the meds that I needed, and I went, because my husband's men don't think, they're not going to look, they're not going to remember, so anyway, I just got that and went home and took all my meds, the anti-spasm. That was the most important one, because your bladder, like I said, it's so much pressure, it's the spasming, it's rejecting it. So over the weekend, I figured out what I could do when. So I took my tramadol at night, the codeine during the day, and then when I went to go, it was time to drive my son, I only took the codeine when I first woke up, and then naproxen before I left, and then as soon as I got home, then I would take my codeine again after I finished. So for about 6 hours, I was very uncomfortable. I wouldn't say it was the worst pain, because the worst pain is when you first come home, but it was still, that pressure. And so that's how I was pretty much this whole week driving my son. I would drop him off, I would come home, take the Tylenol, and then I just couldn't wait to pick him up so I could take my codeine and my anti-spasm medicine. And so that's basically how I was the whole week. And I'm like ready. In my mind, I'm saying I'm gonna go at war with my doctor, because I want this thing out of me. What I realized after looking it up is that this is major surgery. You're in the hospital for a week, and I'm not sure. I think they have to. I don't know why they would have to attach a bag. I think because too much fluid builds up, and they have to collect it or something in the bag, because you can still urinate. And then you have a 4 to 6 week recovery at home. It took my son 5 years to go to college. My husband, I don't want him to lose his job. He did it for me when I was doing the gallbladder surgery. He cannot do it again. Driving him back and forth, that's a 2-hour drive a day. He needs to eat, so he's gonna have to take time off to eat. So that's gonna be 2.5 hours he's taking off from work. He can't do that. So I would give it, round it up to 3 hours. Because any little thing, he might come out late, there might be traffic. He cannot be taking off 3 hours from work every day for 6 weeks. It just can't happen. So basically, I was going to meet with him yesterday, and I was hoping we wasn't going to go at war, but to say that we're going to have to schedule the surgery during the Thanksgiving, because they have November is their last month of school, and then the first week of December is finals. And then the second week in January, school starts. And I am going to need to be able to go there and make sure that everything's paid for, get his book that first week in January. So I figure I'll do the surgery that second week in December. And then hopefully by the fourth week, I'll be good enough that I'll be able to go to, I would think by then I'd be okay to drive. But and I think he's going to be mad about that, because he's like, his mind is like, I got the kidney. I have a family. I cannot do that. My son works so hard to get to the point that he is right now. I'm not going to tell him to quit school, and if he does, that's going to mess him up with the organization he's with. It's going to mess up his schooling, and so because they only allow you to drop a certain amount of classes. So I'm not going to do that to him. I'm not. So, I was concerned about my vacation, but what I realized is that by Thursday morning, I didn't need to take anything. I just take the naproxen. By the evening, I do need to take my antispasms, because I do start to feel pain, like a pressure, it's like a crampy. I guess the good word is like a cramp, like when you have your period. So I do still take the anti-inflammatory, antispasm, in the evening, as soon as I come back from bringing him, or like I'll take it today before I go do groceries, and I just take the naproxen in the morning and then naproxen before I go to bed, and I don't. It's like it's almost not there anymore. Like I don't feel it. I can't believe it, because last time I thought I had it in for a month, but maybe it was a week. I don't know. I was 10 years ago. I just remember that I couldn't wait to get it out of me. So I'm going to have to sit down and discuss with him how we're going to schedule this. So I just really hope he's not one of those arrogant doctors that just wants to do things their way. Like the guy who did my uterus surgery, he was so arrogant, and I almost died, So I really hope that I'm not experiencing that again. So I just got to find out, am I going to a kidney specialist to do the surgery, or is it a surgeon? Because if it's a surgeon, then I want the surgeon who did my gallbladder. He is very well accredited surgeon, so that's the story with that. What I'm in shock about is like it's almost as if it's not there. I think the only thing, like I said, is at night it does feel crampy, and so around maybe 6ish I take that antispasm, and I can't believe it. Again, it just feels like there's nothing there now, and I am still peeing a little bit of blood, but because your uterus, your kidney, your ureter don't want this thing in there. They don't want it. It doesn't belong there. It's a foreign object, so it's irritated. So that's where the blood is coming from. But at least I find that it's a lot less now. It's not as bad. Before my urine was red, and now it's a little pink. So I mean that's pretty. I'm glad about that. It's like as long as I take my antispasm drug about 6 o'clock and my naproxen morning and night, I'm like good. I'm good. So that's good, thank God. So the only thing is I'm gonna see if I can convince, since I'm not gonna do the surgery till December, I'm gonna see if I can convince I'm gonna talk to a gynecologist about, hey, you don't have to worry about mistaking anything. I don't have a uterus. I just want to make sure that my ovaries are okay. So, I'm gonna see if because I just want to get that over with now. I don't want to wait till next year and have to be paying all these things. If she tells me I have to do tests and stuff, it's gonna be phenomenal, the cost. So that's the only thing with that. As far as me, my diabetes came back. That's what kills me. I know that the day before I went to get registered, because you register before you actually do the surgery, they said my blood sugar went up to 146, and 150 means you're diabetic. And I was like, oh crap, I know that all the pumpkin stuff is in the stores again, and I tried. I had like 2 cupcakes the night before. They were 2 small cupcakes, and I'm like, maybe that was it. So I tried to stay away from sugar. I'm even trying to stay away even from my carbs. I mean, I still have it, but not. I was trying to have less carbs. Because, I think I told you last week, I went down to 2 meals a day, and I was having like ramen soup in between. So maybe like 2 veggie patties a day, maybe 2 ramen soups a day, and maybe having some fruits. And instead of losing weight, I gained 5 pounds. And then when I went again, they said like I gained another 5 pounds, and I'm like, what the heck, And so for that week, I tried to like stay away from anything that was going to turn into sugar, and my blood sugar went up to like 177. I'm like, what the heck? I was like, maybe it's the drugs, maybe it's I don't know what it is that they were giving me, I should say medications. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm trying to think, is it because when you do the colonoscopy, you have to be completely clean? Is it now that my intestines are completely clean, it's just absorbing everything? I mean, what the heck, So, if the plastic surgeon would have just done the right thing for me back in July, I would have been rid of this. One of the things I'm nervous about being on the table and them cutting into my back is my belly is so big, it's going to make, just disproportion my whole body. It's going to be very uncomfortable. How are they going to intubate me if I'm on my face? I don't, breathing is always my biggest scare. So I feel, if these surgeons would have just stopped being so freaking greedy. And to me, it's like, come on now, at least you're making some money, because you're getting paid by the insurance company. At least you're making something. So I am just really frustrated. So even if I wanted to do the weight loss surgery, that's the last thing on my mind right now. I just need to take care of my kidneys. So as far as my kidneys, though, I think this is good news. I told him I feel nothing on my right kidney. He's like, you must have some nerve damage in there or something, because that one should be hurting you more. I spent a long time on that kidney. So he says, you must have some nerve damage. And then I think that a couple of days later, I started feeling movement. I could feel the stones moving around in there. Then I felt some pain in the ureter. And I'm hoping that the stent is I thought it's supposed to protect you from ripping, but also I thought it was um, to prevent, stones getting splocking in there. So I did feel something. So I don't know if that, and I asked him, so is my kidney going to go back to normal? He says never. But at least we got it functioning again. You didn't lose any more function in that kidney, because basically it's like dialysis, and then you're on a list for, a transplant. And you know how that is. Unless you have money, or or you're you're lucky, you're at the end of a very long list. So you know, so at least we got it functioning. And my left side was always functioning. It's just got like a ton of stones in there. So I was looking up how to pass them naturally, like just like with the gallbladder, that could be dangerous. But one of the things I was reading is not so much to pass them, but to break them up. Some lady was gonna die. She almost lost both her kidneys, and she became like an herbalist or a naturalist, and she said watermelon juice. Just drink. So I bought myself a giant watermelon. I've been eating it all week. And so I stopped buying watermelon because they're so big. And if you don't eat them the first day here in Houston, they don't fit in the fridge. Now, at least not in the little fridge they gave us here. You have to leave them out, and they will spoil within a day or two. But my daughter chopped it up, and I was eating it for like 3 or 4 days. So I'm gonna try and while it's the end of summer already, but if I can get as many watermelons as I can, I'm just gonna keep eating those. Who knows? Maybe I won't need the surgery this summer. I don't know, but with me, it's just one thing after another. I'm still, my head is still in a fog. I was kind of nervous. I'm on antibiotics, but I took my last one this morning. I'm like, I hope that I'm not, like my body is rejecting this so much, or that I feel like I'm not all there, and I get scared because I'm driving, so 2 hours every day. So I've just been really out of it, or maybe I'm still getting the drugs out of my system, all the tramadol and all of that out of my system, the codeine. I don't know. So one thing I am hoping for is because he was able to remove that one blockage, I hope he took that to the lab to get tested, so that I can, find out what is causing this, because I stayed, the last time they said it was calcium, so I stayed away from milk, I don't know what could be causing it. So I'm hoping that they can tell me, and then this way they can tell me what to avoid, so this doesn't happen to me again. Because I'm not getting any younger. My body's, I can't take it. I seriously can't take it. So, anyway, that's my life. So, anyway, okay. Hopefully I will be able to find the, something tells me this is going to be really popular, this holiday collection. And I'm just hoping that I get it in time. That when my friend at HEB gets it, she'll tell me, because sometimes she's on vacation, and then it gets put up, and by the time I get there, it's gone. So I'm calling I was already stalking my Walgreens. I'm already calling my Walgreens, because I already know it's going to be one of those popular items, and next thing you know, they're going to be gone. You're going to go on eBay and pay like $100 for everything. So I really hope I get this holiday collection from Wet n Wild. Anyway, I love you all. Bye.